Hare Krishna. Summary of Canto 4, Chapter 20. Lord Vishnu appears in the sacrificial arena. Being satisfied with Prithu Maharaj, Lord Vishnu, who is the master of all sacrifice, who is Yajnapati, and the enjoyer of sacrifice, Yajnapuk, appeared along with Indra and began to speak to Prithu Maharaj. He told Prithu Maharaj, please forgive this Indra. Indra has disturbed your 100th sacrifice and he is here with me seeking forgiveness from you. Therefore, kindly excuse him. An intelligent devotee does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy in either case, he forgives. Forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. The Lord was advising Prithu Maharaj to forgive Indra based on the understanding that the soul and the body are different. So first he talks about how jnana of the body, soul and super soul actually leads to bhakti. So he said, intelligent devotees who are inclined to welfare activities and who are the best among humans are never malicious towards others because they know that the body is different from the soul. If a personality like you, Prithu Maharaj, who is advanced because of extreme devotional service and is carried away by Maya, then all the advancement is just a waste of time. Those who are in full knowledge that this body arises from actions due to desires arising from ignorance, they do not become attached to the body. How can a learned person who has no attachment to his body be attached to bodily productions like house, children, wealth, and so on? Such people with knowledge of body and soul can truly equip themselves further with knowledge of the super soul. There is a difference between the super soul and the soul. The super soul is endowed with 9 different qualities. The super soul is one, he is pure, he is self-effulgent, he is without material qualities, he is a reservoir of all good qualities, he is able to go everywhere, he is uncovered by matter, he is the witness of all activities, and he is independent of the jiva and transcendental. However, the conditioned soul is unlimited, impure, not so self-effulgent. He's with material modes, he's engaged in material qualities, he's not able to go everywhere, he's covered by matter and he does not witness all the activities and he's always dependent on the super soul. Result of knowledge of Paramatma and Atma, when one gets that, one is unaffected by the material modes although he is situated within the body. Having realized this, then one practices Bhakti Mishra Jnana. He faithfully serves me, the Lord said, that he faithfully serves the Lord through his occupational duties without material desires, and he gradually becomes satisfied from within. So like this, one disassociated from the modes of material nature and endowed with perfect vision and pure mind finally attains peace and is situated in equality with the Lord. One who understands the indifferent and fixed soul to be the superintendent of the body, senses and so on is eligible for liberation from samsara. How can the jiva be free from birth and death simply by being indifferent to the body and senses while continuously supervising them? The material world operates due to the interaction of the modes. Knowing the soul to be different from its gross and subtle bodies and being connected with the Lord in intense friendship, the devotees are never agitated by happiness and distress. Jnanis become free from samsara by striving for it by Bhakti Mishra Jnana. But devotees, by their pure bhakti, they develop detachment, and even without striving for freedom from samsara, they can attain that result. This is due to their being bound by the Lord by his loving friendship. Since you are bound by me by affection, bound to me by affection, you should follow my orders. This is what the Lord was telling Prithu Maharaj. Now the Lord gave specific instructions to Prithu Maharaj. The Lord gave 4 instructions. He said, Treat higher, intermediate, and lower entities with equality. Be equipoised in happiness and distress. Control your mind and senses and protect your citizens. Now, why should Prithu Maharaj protect his citizens? Because if a king protects his citizens, he will get 1/6 of their piety. If he doesn't, the citizens will take his piety and he will suffer their sins. By protecting the citizens and earth according to the principles approved by the Lord and received from the great Brahmanas without attachment to one's position, the citizens will love the king, and the Lord predicted that very soon Prithu Maharaj will see great saints like the Kumaras. Then the Lord told Prithu Maharaj, ask for any benediction. I am captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. One cannot achieve my favor simply by sacrifices, austerities, or yoga. I am situated neutrally in the heart for those who are equipoised and not controlled by material conduct. Then Prithu Maharaj accepted the instructions of the Lord on his head. Indra was ashamed of his own activities and touched Prithu Maharaj's feet. Prithu Maharaj gave up all hatred and embraced Indra. Prithu Maharaj then worshipped the lotus feet of the Lord with increasing ecstasy. The Lord was just about to leave, but being the well-wisher of the devotees, Suhrit Satam, and greatly inclined towards Maharaj Prithu, he did not depart. His eyes was full of tears and his voice was choked up. Prithu could neither see nor address the Lord. Embracing him within his heart, he stood with folded hands. The Lord's feet touched the ground and he rested his hand on Garuda's shoulder. Wiping his tears, Prithu saw the Lord but wasn't fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus he offered beautiful prayers. The Lord's feet generally does not touch the earth, but out of affection for Prithu Maharaj, he touched the earth and placed his hand on Garuda as if to prevent himself from stumbling, since he is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground. Prithu Maharaj offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. He said, O best of all benedictors, how can a learned person ask you for benedictions that is meant for those bewildered by material modes? They are available even for people in hellish conditions. Although you are the Lord of liberation, I do not ask you for such benedictions. To Prithu Maharaj, he clarified that he did not desire for Kaivalya by addressing the Lord as Kaivalyapati. Then he said, I never want such benedictions like liberation in which there is no nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. So please give me at least 1,000,000 years to hear your glories coming from the hearts of your pure devotees through their mouths. Prithu wanted to have millions of years because they are unlimited talks on the glories of the Lord, and he wanted to hear all of them. Then he said, the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet. By hearing it, the forgetful living entities, even bad yogis, gradually remember their eternal relationship with you. Other benedictions are unnecessary. If someone somehow hears your auspicious glories in the association of devotees even once, he cannot give up your association or glorification unless he's an animal. Even Lakshmi desires to hear your unlimited glories. Prithu Maharaj then expressed his desire to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. He said, O Supreme Person, reservoir of all transcendental qualities, I desire to serve your lotus feet just like Lakshmi. But I am afraid that we would compete and quarrel over service to a single master. Lakshmi is in Madhurya Bhav while Prithu is in Dasya Bhav. So there was no question of us competing with her on the platform of Madhurya. But still Prithu Maharaj expressed this beautiful emotion. And then he said, Oh Lord, at that time you will take my side. Lakshmi, the mother of the universe, may be angry with me for desiring her service. Yet I am hopeful that you will take my part, for you are affectionate to the poor, you are Deenavatsala, and You magnify even an insignificant service unto you, and you can do this without her as you are self sufficient. Then Prithu Maharaj expressed his Viraha Bhakti, his Veera Bhakti, his Veera Bhakti, desire for competition in relation to Lakshmi. He wondered if he would quarrel with Lakshmi while performing bhakti, just as he quarreled with Indra while doing karma. And then he said, not only I, but all of your devotees request this benediction of service. Great devotees render devotional service unto you. You destroy the illusion of material existence. They have no reason to take your shelter except to constantly remember your lotus feet. The Lord might say, then why do I ask my devotees to request for benedictions? So then Prithu Maharaj said, your words ask for a benediction, and the allurements that you offer in the Vedas are certainly bewildering to the people in general who engage in karma repeatedly. Ignorant living beings in this world, forgetful of their real constitutional position, always desire material happiness. Therefore, please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me without asking, just like how a father asks for the benefit of his son. At that time, the Lord began to offer benedictions to Prithu Maharaj. He said, may you have bhakti unto me. Only by such purity of purpose as you yourself intelligently expressed can one cross over my unsurmountable Maya. Prithu Maharaj requested for the most beneficial thing. The Lord awarded bhakti, which concludes that nothing but bhakti is the most beneficial. The Lord said, execute my orders carefully and don't be misled by anything. Anyone who carries out my orders faithfully will always find good fortune. The Lord appreciated the meaningful prayers of Prithu, and after being properly worshipped, blessed him and he desired to leave. Then Prithu Maharaj worshipped the demigods, sages, Pitris, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas and others with his sweet words and wealth, thinking of them as representatives of the Lord. Then all of them returned to their abodes. The Lord, who captivated the minds of the king and priests, also returned to his abode. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to Prithu. Prithu offered his obeisances to the Lord, and the Lord returned to his home. This completes the summary of Canto 4, Chapter 20. Lord Vishnu appears in the sacrificial arena. Hare Krishna.